everyone, it's Kimber Schaefer here with Rage in the Cage OKC News, and we are here at Wilshire Gun Range, our sponsor for Rage in the Cage 49. It's all going down December 16th, and this guy right here, Richie Bowen, you're going to be making your Rage in the Cage debut, although it's not your debut in the cage. You are a 7-5 pro fighter, so you've had at least 12 fights in the cage so far. You're going to be fighting a tough competitor in Ken Coulter. So, I mean, obviously Ken has been around, he's fought for Rage in the Cage quite a bit, so have you been able to watch tape? Do you kind of learn his fighting style? And obviously, you've been at our fights. He's fought several other guys from your gym, R1. So what are you looking forward to most about fighting Ken?
I'm just mostly excited to get back in there. Ken, he looks like a tough opponent. I think that'll be really good for the fans to put on a good show for him. So I think that's what I'm most excited about.
Well, that's awesome. What is your fighting style? What do you consider? Are you, more of a ground or stand-up, or kind of a combination of all the above?
I like to think I'm a combination of all the above. Everyone has holes in the games. I like to improve on them. But I think I'm a little better on the ground, but I'm going to try to put on a good show more than anything. I want to put on a good show.
Hey, that's important. That's great. Our fans, obviously, they pay the money. They want to see a good show. So you live in Pauls Valley. You drive all the way to R1, which is in the Choctaw area. So obviously, you must think pretty highly of R1. So how did you end up there? And what makes it so special there?
The team, it's a big family. We help each other get ready. Like you said, Ken's fought several guys out of R1, so I think that gives me a little bit of an edge. Having that kind of perspective on guys that have actually been in there with him. And R1 for me is, like I said, it's a big family. These guys, we train together and we fight and we lose together. So I'm excited to get in there and hopefully represent my team very well.
Well, R1 puts out some fantastic fighters, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you, since I haven't been able to so far. And I'm going to go home and have to look up some footage just to be able to see you in there. That's a great thing about Rage in the Cage as well. We do have our Rage in the Cage YouTube channel, if you're not familiar with it, where we put up some of the fights from our past cards, and then our pre-fight interviews and our post-fight productions and such. So it gives people that are going to fight for Rage in the Cage kind of an idea of what you can expect at our events. So let's talk about your game plan going into this. And I don't want you to give up anything specific, because obviously, you can't give your opponent your game plan, but have you come up with a specific game plan, or is it just an all-around training regimen?
I stick to a pretty all-around training regimen for sure. There's several things you have to take into account with any fight. Ken's going to be a little bit taller than me. He's going to have some reach. So, that's something that I'll try to adjust for in camp and work on. Other than that, it's use my strengths to impose my will upon my opponent. So, looking forward to it.
Let's talk about your background as well. Obviously, you've been training in R1 for a while. How long have you been training there? And do you have a background in fighting in like jiu-jitsu or wrestling or boxing and such?
My background consists mostly of jiu-jitsu, but I'd say I've been doing mixed martial arts for about 8 years now. More than that, it's just unfortunately that's my strong suit, but I'm going to try to stick it out and really put on a good performance.
Right. So. Well, I obviously Ken, trained at a jiu-jitsu gym for quite a while with American Elite, and he's also trained quite a bit in his stand-up. So, have you? Obviously, like you said, you've got several fighters in your gym that have fought Ken, so, and you feel like that's an edge up. So is there any sort of focus that you're going in and trying to, as far as his reach, combat that in any way?
Just mostly spar with taller guys, and keep my hands up. More than anything, keep my hands up, spar with the taller guys if I can, and try to find guys that move similar to him if I can, and just go from there.
I always find it so interesting to kind of find out how you go into a fight when you have that preparation, that background of your fighter, if it's any different than if you don't know anybody. And so, do you feel like that's a huge plus for you?
I think you could take it that way. More than anything, it's just another face on the other side of the cage. It wouldn't matter who it is. Just keep into account the simple things, height, reach, weight, and their strengths, my strengths, and try to impose my will.
Well, you've had, like you said, you've been training, I think you said for several years, 7 years in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you've had quite a time to train. What has been some of your most memorable moments over the years, as far as whether it be in training or in the cage?
I think more than anything, the best thing for me is training with the tough guys at R1. Those guys, behind the scenes, they'll do some stuff that just will blow your mind. And getting a look like that makes it a lot more interesting, a lot of fun to get in there and try it myself.
You mentioned fun and loving your gym. How do you, after you've been in martial arts this long, how do you make it not really be a job per se, but to be fun as well as a job?
I couldn't tell you from person to person, but for me, the perspective I've had on it is this is the kind of sport you either love it or you hate it. And I love it. It's absolutely right.
So what happens if you miss a couple of days training?
It's not any fun. You feel like you're missing out. Absolutely missing out. So try not to miss out.
I'm trying not to miss out as well because we've got Rage in the Cage 49 coming up, and I'm hoping these fans out there don't miss out. Do you have any last words for them? Any shout outs before we go?
Don't blink.
Don't blink.
Don't blink.
I love that. So don't blink, don't miss it. See us December 16th at Farmers Market for Rage in the Cage 49. You can get tickets from this guy or any other fighter on the card, or of course ticketstorm.com, and we hope to see you there.